this kind of strange concept that the marriage never happened. Divorce and annulment, two terms that often find themselves in the same legal conversation, yet each holds a distinct place in the world of family law. I'm going to explain the similarities and differences between them in this video. At least a half a dozen times a year, I get calls from people who want an annulment of their marriage rather than a divorce. When I ask them why an annulment instead of a divorce, they tell me anything from religious reasons, such as wanting to get married again someday in the church, to such hurt and bitter feelings about their spouse that they want to take an eraser to the marriage and treat it like it never happened. And that, my friends, is the essence of what an annulment is. This kind of strange concept that the marriage never happened. There's a company out there called ServPro. They do damage restoration, trees falling through houses, floods, fire, that kind of thing. And their tagline is like it never happened. And I have a marketing background. I always thought that was a brilliant tagline for a restoration company. What could be better than making you feel like it never happened? Well, that's what annulments are. They're the ServPro of the divorce world. And I've actually been wanting to do this video for a while since I put those two thoughts together years ago. So an annulment is like a legal eraser. If an annulment is granted, then from a legal perspective, it never did happen. But don't start calling me yet for an annulment, because there are some things you need to know in order to even qualify to get an annulment rather than a divorce. The most important thing to know is that if you have kids, you probably won't be able to get an annulment. Why? Well, because the courts don't want to put your kids back into illegitimate status. So why an annulment versus a divorce? Well, if the marriage was obtained by fraud or duress, if there's bigamy or mental incapacity or underage marriage without parental consent, or impotency, or even certain crimes committed during the marriage that would shock the conscience of the reasonable person, the innocent spouse might want to undo the marriage and restore themselves to the never married status, particularly if there is a stigma within religious or cultural community about divorce. Yes, that still exists. So how does an annulment work procedurally? Well, it's very similar to a divorce in that an annulment follows a procedural path that involves filing the annulment, serving it, and then going through the court proceedings, which may involve mediation prior to a final trial. And while annulments might face restrictions in cases involving children, they do offer a unique advantage when it comes to the complex realm of asset and debt division, but only when used appropriately. So picture this scenario. A couple is facing the task of untangling their financial lives, from shared mortgages to intertwined retirement plans. In a divorce, these issues are all on the table, subject to equitable division. However, with an annulment, the clock is reset back to never married status, and a lot of these issues then don't need to be dealt with. So the often contentious battle over a home that was owned premaritally by one of the spouses with a mortgage paid with marital funds, or the intricate division of retirement plan contributions, becomes less convoluted under an annulment than it does in a divorce. Now, my firm had a case not long ago where our client had married someone that they didn't know had a whole secretive past, including a criminal record in another state, and they didn't even use their real name when they met our client and married them. Our client came into the marriage with a home that still had a mortgage on it, as well as a retirement plan that they contributed to during the marriage. So they filed for the annulment on the basis of the grave deception and shocking revelations about their spouse. Now, they could have filed a divorce, but the circumstances of finding out that they were married to an entirely different person that they were led to believe resulted in their wanting to strike that marriage completely from their life history. And there are emotional and therapeutic reasons for wanting to do this. There was also the issue of asset division, equity in the home, large retirement fund, both of them accumulated during the marriage. Those were the reasons, psychological and financial, for filing the annulment rather than a divorce. One big difference between a divorce and an annulment in Georgia is that a divorce does not need the approval of the court. Yeah, the judge has to sign off on the final judgment and decree, but the court can't stop you from getting divorced. However, with an annulment, the court does need to approve the annulment, mostly owing to the fact that there's likely to be severe pushback from the other side to end the marriage with a divorce and all that entails, rather than ending the marriage with a restoration to the never married status and all that this reset entails. So the takeaway here is that there is a way to undo I do and make it like it never happened, but you'd better make sure your case fits all of the requirements before you ask the court to take an eraser rather than a Sharpie marker to your marriage certificate. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click subscribe, like, follow, and turn on the alerts so that you'll get notified when we post our newest videos. Please share these videos, leave us some comments, ask us questions, tell us what other topics you'd like for me to talk about. Join our Facebook group at Georgia Divorce and Custody for more information. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.